Hey, I'm Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and I'm filming this on a day just after I got back from the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser experience at Disney World in Orlando. I'll talk about that in a longer video, but one of the highlights of my time there is that I participated in a very brief Sabacc tournament, which is a card game based in the Star Wars universe. I played the Coruscant Shift variant of it, and the variant, as I'm looking through this rulebook, so I just opened this up, it's a little bit different, I think, than the version that we played on the Star Cruiser itself. The core idea of the game is that it's a gambling game, card game, where you have these cards that are very slippery. I'm worried that I'm going to dump this entire hand out, but this is the entire deck of cards. They each have a number on them, so this is a -1 card, for example, and a shape. And at the beginning of each round, the dealer rolls these two nice metal dice, and a shape will come up on one of the dice, and a number will appear on the other dice. It can be a +10, it can be a 0, it can be a -10, -5. There's some positive negative numbers. And what you're trying to do is build a hand of cards that equal that number. So if the goal is to have cards that add up to 10, then I might have this, I'll have 5 cards in hand. This is a 6 right here with squares on it. And I might try to make sure that I have a 4 in hand as well. So 6 + 4 is 10. At the same time, the tiebreaker, kind of the secondary goal, is to have as many of the rolled icon as possible, the rolled shape. So ideally, I would use triangles to form this +10 in my hand. There are a couple times to bet over the course of a hand of Sabacc. One is at the beginning of the round, you'll get your hand of 5 cards, and then you'll get rid of any of those cards that you don't want. The way that we were playing was that you had to keep at least 1 card in hand, so you couldn't get rid of all of your cards. And after you do that, all players can see how many remaining cards everybody has, and that's when you do the first round of bidding. So you have some information there as to who has which cards. And my favorite mechanism in the game is both this combination of information that you have about other players, how many cards they have in their hand after they've discarded some of them, but also just the fact that you can discard some cards because after that betting round, you get to draw back up to a hand of 5 cards. So you have more control, I think, than I've seen in other games like this over what your final hand will be, particularly since after that, you also get one final chance to bid, and also one final chance to discard cards from your hand. You don't get to gain any more after that, but discard cards because you've had these random cards into your hand, and now you get to discard some more cards in the hopes of, in this case, getting to that number 10. So this idea that you are discarding some cards to get some others to impact your hand and weighing the information that you have, what other players bet, how many cards that they had left in their hand after they when they actually did do that initial bet, and the shape that you're going after in the hopes of getting the tie. Because I think the odds are decently good that you will end up with the target number. We saw that happen a lot. But actually getting the shapes in your hand to break that tie is a lot more difficult. So I actually found the game surprisingly fun. I'm a little worried about shuffling these cards because they're really high quality cards, but they're really slippery. But I do look forward to playing with this real set. The metal dice are really nice to roll as well. So yeah, that's my favorite mechanism in this Star Wars themed game, this specific version of Sabacc in particular. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, whether you've played this game, if this mechanism sounds interesting to you, or if you've heard about it in another game, or, and this is a topic that I talked about in a previous video, if there are any fictional games in fictional universes that you would like to play at some point, let me know what that is in the comments as well. Thanks.